I'm Joseph Pappoe, and I'm presenting on the impact of rebranding on Ghanaian banks, a case study of ADB and GCB Bank. Outline of the presentation. The key areas to be covered in this presentation are as follows. 1. Research background. 2. Research problem. 3. Research purpose and objectives or research questions. 5. Proposed methodology. 6. Significance of the study. 7. 3. Lessons learned during the writing of the research proposal. And of course, the references. The research background. A brand signifies one of the most important assets to a company, and it may be represented by its name, slogan, and logo, which characterize a means by which consumers recognize, remember, and recall the brand. Over time and with growing competition, many banks have decided to rebrand themselves as a way of getting a makeover, revitalizing themselves, or being totally reborn. When talking about rebranding from a CEO's perspective, there are just two kinds of rebranding: they have to and want to. Spide 2005, page 18, stating that it could be a necessity or luxury, real or cosmetic. Rebranding itself has been an increasing phenomenon worldwide. Kaikati and Kaikati 2003. So the rebranding topic is important not just because many companies are doing it, but perhaps also because of the tremendous cost involved. The cost of rebranding includes hiring a branding consulting firm to work on the branding strategy and implementation costs that follow. The changes involved in rebranding a firm from its building to its business card present a picture of the tremendous amount of work to be done and all the possible costs involved. This is not to mention the possible effects on the different stakeholders, the most important of which are the customers, the shareholders, and of course, the employees. Agricultural Development Bank (ADB) rebranded the company's logo and name during the early part of the year 2014 and became ADB with a wave logo. This is not to mention this is not the first time the company has rebranded after its establishment in 1965. In 1970, the bank was rebranded and the name was changed from Agricultural Credit and Cooperative Bank to Agricultural Development Bank when the parliamentary status statute was amended to grant the institution full commercial banking powers. So the idea behind the rebranding of ADB was to create a new wave into the banking system, to create a new relationship with their customers, that is to catch the attention of both old and new customers. The bank also rebranded to provide better service to their customers since in the course of rebranding, new technologies were introduced to create a new spirit of banking and to create a new profit margin. ADB incurred a cost during the rebranding process. Costs involved in changing of deposit and withdrawal slip, technological systems, and the likes. So the the Ghana Commercial Bank Limited has also rebranded, getting to the end of the year 2014 with the intention of making the bank and its system more relevant to the needs of its customers in the 21st century. It is now known as GCB Bank Limited with its evolved corporate logo from a standing to a soaring eagle aiming at higher heights and reach, and a new tagline, Your Bank for Life. Ghana Commercial Bank Limited was set up as a bank of Gold Coast under the ordinance passed by the then Legislative Assembly in 1952. After 60 years, after 60 years, it's been positioned as the national bank providing financial services mainly to the public sector employees and to the government at large. So, as one of the largest banks in Ghana, GCB have chosen to rebrand so as to be competitive in the overcrowded financial sector. GCB has been repositioned from a state institution to a national premier bank providing world-class banking services. Arguably, it is the biggest bank in Ghana with over 157 branches dotted across the country. DCB Bank, after losing some grounds to new entrants and existing players in the market, has rebranded with the aim to solidify its position as one of the best performing banks in the country today. The research problem. The banking industry globally is one of the industries facing keen competitions. There are about 29 banks in Ghana championing their products through various concepts of rebranding and enhancing their corporate image. So, for a good reason, there is a lot of focus on rebranding and brand development, which has been discovered by marketing experts as one means of marketing and promoting the products of organizations. Stability of rebranding is one of the problems facing these companies. Most companies are often not in the capacity to consistently maintain and sustain a created brand. So these companies are therefore compelled to build new brand every now and then. Moreover, more funds are then expected to be allocated to administer these frequent innovations of brands. So the main purpose of creating a particular brand is not to not is not exploited to the maximum before the new brands are created. And of course, this leads to brand mismanagement, which can, in the end, endanger the economic growth and development of the company, and as a result, prevent customers from patronizing the products of the organization. Another problem identified is that most companies do not stand out in the marketplace and they are not connecting with potential customers. These big rebrands strain resources and give a feeling of working hard for less. The main reason most companies do not stand out is because they do not know who they are. Something they need to be like their potential customers in order to connect with them. So they bend over trying to be what they think the market wants them to be. They try on many different looks and change with their trends, having many different images and personalities at the same time, or one after the other. This only confuses would-be customers and dilutes any competitive advantage. Most business decisions that might eventually affect the organization's brand image are made by people other than the brand manager on financial criteria with little consideration for ethical issues. Whenever anything goes wrong, whenever anything goes wrong, be it small incidents or a big crisis, it is the brand that takes the blame. The brand image and the company and the corporate reputation are always the victim. So the question is, will ADB and GCD be able to maintain and build its brand in order to stand the test of time? In order to examine this maxim, the study, therefore, is expected to address these problems and examine the impact of rebranding on these brands and the effects on its consumer behavior. So the research purpose and objectives. The main objective, the main objective of this study is to examine the impact of rebranding on Ghanaian banks in relation to consumer behavior using ADB and GCB as a case study. So the specific objectives would include investigating the rebranding success and the strategies used in sustaining their rebranded products and services. Two, assessing the factors that customers consider in choosing the bank's products and services over the other bank's products and services. And of course, these products and services include bank financial services and the products they have in terms of finances. terms of finance. So the third one is examining the challenges that are being encountered by ADB and GCB in the course of rebranding. Research questions are in pursuance to the objectives of this study. The following research questions will be examined. To what extent does the rebrand success of banks help in sustaining their rebrand products and services? What are the factors that banks and customers consider in choosing ADB and GCB's products over the other banks' products and services? And also, what impact does successful rebranding have on ADB and GCB? So, the proposed methodology. The research methodology consists of the source of data in terms of primary and the secondary source, research population, sampling technique, sample size, research instruments, administration of the research instruments, data collection procedure. So under the methodology, we have the research design um, for this proposal. The research design that what we are looking to, I'll be looking to use will be the descriptive survey. That will look at that will be um, that will aim at getting respondents to answer the same questions, which involve many variables, and also the source of data, which are the primary source and then the secondary sources of data. And also we have the primary source of data, which will be collected in terms of by way of observation, interview, and survey. And with the secondary will be um, gathered from both internal and external sources. And also we have the population of the study. That's the research population, which would comprise of the management and membership of GCB and ADB, and these and also employees will be needed to provide how do you call it responses that could serve as a measure of the gap on the chosen topic. And we have the sample size and research instruments. So for the sample size and sample method, we will for we would have 70 in all. That will be 35 for GCB and 35 for ADB. So with a 35 for GCB, we have 15 staff and 20 beneficiaries of GCB, and then 15 staff and 20 beneficiaries of ADB. And also for the sampling method, we would have the random sampling technique I would use to select the beneficiaries or customers of GCB and ADB. Now, with the research instrument, the questionnaire will be the main research instrument used. So, a set of questions will be presented to the human resource management of both ADB and DCB. And the questionnaires will be divided into three main parts. That's the personal information, information about the study, and information about staff operations, complaints, and the company in general. Two main sets of questionnaires would be developed, one for the managers and one for the beneficiaries, that's the customers. So these questions will be carefully formulated, both open-ended and closed-ended questions will be used. Now, for the research, administration of the research instrument, the questionnaire, which is the main research instrument, will be given to respondents during working hours to prevent them from avoiding the questions. This will be done because apart from the working hours, it will be very difficult for the questionnaires to be administered. For some employees, intercept interviews will be granted during their break time. This will be a process to engage the employees to respond to some unstructured questions of the firm's appraisal system. Um, I move to Now we move to the significance of the study. The study will assist the management of ADB and GCB Bank to effectively review rebranding strategies, differentiate their products from that of their competitors to its target market. This could be achieved through effective this can be achieved through effective rebranding management, planning, implementation, and monitoring of brand strategies. So designing and managing an effective brand strategy is very important in articulating values and explain why these banks are in the market. So a good rebrand speeds up a good rebrand speeds have positive influence on consumer behavior. Hence, the buyer would have already known the quality of the product being patronized. So the study also is important since it will act as a source of document to business executives, entrepreneurs, government agencies, and policymakers, serving as a standard to guide them in the production and promotion of products and services. This will help private and business executives to appreciate the significant benefits of branding and its influence on profitability and sustainability of customers while increasing sales for the company. Significance of the study. It will again Still on the significance of the study, it will again serve as an academic purpose for students who want to study further on rebranding and more especially managing brands of banking products and services. Since it will serve as an academic reference, lecturers can also use this study to tap information which is very relevant to their course of study. So it can be used for lecturing purposes in the area of rebranding and its effects on products and services of banks in Ghana. This study will finally bring useful suggestions and recommendations that will address the peculiar Ghanaian situation on managing brands among banks in Ghana. Now, three lessons learned during the writing of the research proposal. I have learned how to effectively communicate my ideas and how to analyze the work of others. This was especially I really got this as really in the literature aspect on how to appreciate others' work, analyze their work, and then put them together to help form a very good proposal in my research proposal. But I've also learned how to develop research questions, like with the questions, the three questions stated. Doing a few researches helped me to put together these questions to 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 um, to make meaning. And also, I've also learned a lot about how to find literatures on a particular area of study. Like I said, um, I've really learned a lot when it comes to literature, writing the ACA style and all that. So these are the three lessons that I learned during the writing of the proposal on the impact of rebranding. And the references are as follows. Thank you.